Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you two games I played against my follower here, the Revengers. I won the first game and he won the second game, so the Revengers definitely did get his revenge against me. We are going to learn a number of things. First of all, you're going to see new openings. These two openings are quite unique. They're not played often. This first game is going to be an arena we played on the chess club in the sodium attack. So it was a sodium attack arena. Basically what it means is that the white player is always going to start with knight a3 here, playing, this is what we call the sodium attack. And the second game is going to be in the Budapest Gambit, and you're going to see why it's important to consider your opponent's move and to play prophylactically as well. So without much ado, let's jump right into this game. As you can see, Revengers is rated 2000 and I was rated around 1855. So let's go. The white player starts, well, the game technically starts with the white player already with knight a3, and I responded with knight f6. The Revengers decided to jump with his knight into the board here, and I just played normally. So what you notice here, I don't know why he played like this, but what you notice here is that, what the heck, it's like white came to play, right? He has not developed any of his pieces. He has given me 3 free moves, and I guess he felt he could play for a win. Being the higher rated player, maybe he was feeling he was much stronger, of course. I castled, brought my pieces to the center of the board, and I completed development. Now, already here, black is crushing. You want to castle, you're going to get an open file, but this position is not this is not good for white, right? I decided to hop in with my knight here, basically asking him, what are you doing with this bishop? Maybe I'm going to trade off the light square bishops, bring my queen to the center and put pressure here. That was my idea. He kicked my knight out, I attacked the bishop, he castled, I took the bishop, and I dropped the knight back here. I think in this position, maybe this would have been a better square, but I came here, not too bad. If I dropped the knight here, the advantage is I'm going to pressure this pawn, and I'm not sure how easy it is to defend this pawn. You'll have to make some awkward moves. So, but nonetheless, I dropped the knight to c6 here. He continued like this. I started bringing in my pieces, and this is funny. I guess he felt I was not going to see this. Maybe he was going to checkmate me, but what he blundered was that I had this in-between move. Knight takes e3, check, winning a royal fork here, really. Winning the queen or the rook, but of course I'm going to take the queen. And I'm going to win the queen, and he has 0 compensation. We pick up the queen here. This knight is still coming to this square, hitting that pawn. You can't really push it. So it was going to be a difficult game. Anyway, this game ended very prematurely. Just 18 moves of play in the sodium attack. My opponent played very poorly. You don't play chess like this. You don't undevelop your pieces. I have developed a piece. Okay, we both have pieces developed. This knight is on the rim, so not the best piece. But you jump to the knight again. This right here is a disaster. You have to develop your pieces early. And you have to be careful as well when you have a plan that your opponent does not have his own plan. Okay, you're planning to checkmate me, but you will not be able to do that if you lose your queen. And that was the first game. I beat the Revengers in this game. And then we had the second game. In the second game, we played in another arena, and this is an arena on the Budapest Gambit. So this is the starting position. For those of you that don't know, the Budapest Gambit begins with white going d4, black develops the knight, knight f6, white goes c4, and you go e5. So these are gambits from the black side. You go e5, basically gambiting the e pawn. I don't like this opening personally, but it's playable, and I played against it, and you see how I managed to go about it. Okay, I hopped the knight into the center of the board. Of course, he played like this, and I just got the pawn back, and we have this position. White kind of has good central control, but these pawns can become weaknesses if he doesn't play around them properly. I developed my bishop, pinned the knight. I'm going to castle on the next move, bring my queen. I traded the bishop for the knight just to remove the control, or weaken his center is the point. I'm removing the pieces that are supporting the center, and I castled here. White is better. right? Here white is almost +1. He has these bishops that can slice across the board like this. The queen is ready to come here, the knight is ready to start jumping. So this is not a very good position for black, but I played actively. I developed my pieces as quickly as I could, and I was trading off all his pieces, because I realized if I trade off all his pieces, at the end of the day, he has isolated pawns. I have a very healthy pawn island here. We have these 3 that will go against these 4. At best, it's going to be a draw. That was my idea, at least. So I traded off here. He took. I started bringing in my knights. Look at this. The knights came into the center of the board. And here, he allowed me take this pawn basically for free. I took the pawn, and my plan was simple. I wasn't sure how he was going to... I didn't see an entrance for his queen. I didn't see an entrance. So when he brought his bishop here, I knew, okay, like this doesn't make any sense. Maybe he could have brought the bishop here or here, I'm not sure. But I moved my king out of the way. He allowed me take the pawn, and I brought this rook over here. I was like, okay, I'm fine. You can trade here, I don't mind. I'm going to get my rooks into the game. So if you look at this position here, I am just completely winning. We have equal number of pieces, bishop, bishop, rook, rook, knight, knight. But I'm going to argue that my knights are better than his bishops, right? That's the point. My knights are better than your bishops. He has this pawn island. Look at this. This is terrible. 1, 2, 3 isolated pawns. And then there's this. So he has 4 pawn islands, technically. I have just 2, right? These 2 pawns are together, and these 4 pawns are together here. So he tried to trade off material. I started trying to advance my pawns, and now I'm up how many pawns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 1, 2, 3, 4. So I was up a pawn already, or 2 pawns rather, in this position. But we are going to see if I won the game. I started pushing, and I started bringing in my pieces. Here I blundered my rook. And I don't understand this move personally. I really don't understand this move, because he's going to take, and I was thinking, wait a second, he's just winning here. Is he not just winning here? I guess I can bring the knight to defend the pawn, but it begins to look strange, right? It begins to look strange. It is me now that is I'm begging for a draw. That's what it's going to mean. I'm going to have to be begging for a draw technically, and that's not what I wanted going into this game. But fortunately, he did not take the rook. He took with the bishop here instead. Now, I have the opportunity to take the bishop. I could have taken the bishop here, even if that was not the best move. Or I could have taken this pawn. There are many ways to play here. But again, I played very poorly here. I took the pawn. Okay, I think I did take the pawn. So I played the best move there. And my pawn was just walking up the board. Okay, this is the critical moment. My pawns are all the way to the end of the board. I am completely winning here. I pushed the pawn again, and here you will notice that there is a checkmate threat. So I pushed this pawn to prevent that. He pushed his pawn. Now I can come here, right? I can come here with my king. I can go g4 check, which is probably going to be the best move. I think g4 is the best move here, yes. So I could have gone g4 check, for example. I could take the pawn. I could move my king. Look at this. Okay, I took the pawn, no problem. He went here. I grabbed another pawn. Now, notice what is going on here. He gave me a check, check. He brought the rook back, and I pushed. He started bringing the king. Now, when you look at this position here, you notice, wait a second, my king is almost boxed in here. If I give white one more move, right? If I give white one more move, he puts this king on this square, and I get checkmated no matter what I do. If I went here with my knight, check, his king will have to move, right? But his king can come here. Now, look at this. All of a sudden, my king is dead. So, what did Kennedy play? I pushed the pawn. And in my head, I was like, okay, he can give me a check. I'll move my king, right? If he gives me a check, I'll move my king. The bishop is under attack. The pawn is 1 square from queening. I'll be winning. What did I not think about? King g5. king g5, and the game is over. Like, from a completely winning position, up 5 pawns. Shit. Up 5 pawns. Completely winning position. I blundered a mate in 1. I blundered a mate in 1 from a completely winning position. And I had my second opportunity to beat the Revengers, who is almost 2000 rated. I could have beaten him for the second time twice in a row, but somehow I blundered this game and I lost. So what's the lesson here? I'm going to get the Revengers again. I'm going to beat him for sure, but I have to be very careful. I have to look out for my opponent's threats. You have to look out for your opponent's threat even when you think you're completely winning. In fact, you could be completely winning, like I was completely winning in this game for sure, but you want to take 1 or 2 moves and make sure that your opponent does not have any counterplay. I think the mistake I made in this game was allowing him walk his king slowly but surely. But hey, that's how chess goes sometimes. Chess is brutal. You can be doing so well, just like in life, and you have one mess up and everything collapses. Anyway, that was the game against Revengers. He got his revenge against me in this game. He managed to beat me the second time around. But Revengers, look out. We are going to have some more games in the future, and I'm going to whoop your ass. All right, everybody, have a good one. I will see you guys in the next video. If you are new here, please subscribe. Follow us on Twitch, join the family, join the Discord channel, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.